By now we learned how to manually trigger a flow simply by pushing a button either on browser or on the mobile app. Now we want to create flows that they go on their own. So basically they recur on a schedule. These triggers are fired based on the time setting, based on the intervals. And now we want to see how we can make them. These flows are created either from the beginning as a scheduled flow, or when we just create a totally blank flow, we can start it by adding a recurrence trigger. Now let's see how we can do it in the Power Automate. Just like before, I go to flow.microsoft.com and I click on Create. Right in the beginning, we can start from blank and I click on Scheduled Flow. Even if you skip on it, you can again add the recurrence trigger on the top of it, but I always prefer to start from here because I typically forget to give the flow a proper name. So I would say my scheduled flow. You can have a starting date, so you can say this flow should start from tomorrow at 10 a.m. And this 10 a.m. is your local time, is the local time that you set for your environment. And I want it to run every 1 minute. Of course, running something every 1 minute is a little bit crazy, but just for the testing purpose, it's okay. So I click on Create. So I have the flow that is running on every 1 minute interval. And if I click on the advanced options, it starts tomorrow at 2 p.m. And if the time zone is not selected, it picks the time zone of my tenancy. While if you want to run it based on a different time zone, you can always click on this drop down and select. One thing is important. When you create a new flow, let me just get rid of this and create a new one. I click on Scheduled Flow. And this time, instead of putting the values and information here in this dialog box, I click on Skip and I start from scratch. And again, I search for recurrence. And you will find it here. If I click on it, again, I have the interface that I can say, okay, run it every 1 minute. Of course, you can change this minute to month, week, day, or whatever you want. And under advanced option, I would say run it under my time zone, which is -5. I live in Eastern time. Now the format of the start time becomes important. So take a mental picture of this slide and remember that. We start with year, dash, month, dash, day, and capital T, hour, minute, seconds, and you put Z. It's based on 24-hour clock. Now let's get back to our flow and continue. I don't want to set anything for this at the moment. So I remove everything. And I don't have the start time because I just want it to run as soon as I save it. I add another step and I say send email. And this is a very good thing. Maybe by now, just sending email was quite boring. For God's sake, Eddie, why are you sending so many useless emails? Actually, for this one, you can have a perfect use because it's running on schedule. You may want to create something like this. At the moment, I just put my own email address and I'm sending this email to myself. But maybe you want to make something for your wife or your girlfriend, put her name there and whatever the subject, okay, honey, I love you. And on the body, you can say, I missed you all day and I am thinking about you. Maybe a few emojis and all those stuff. It doesn't really matter. But this flow will take care of your better half, sending her emails regularly every 1 minute. It's a little bit too much, but at the moment, I'm just sending it to myself for testing purposes. Just if you're sending it to your better half, make sure you set the interval to something bigger than that. Regardless, I click on Save. And as soon as I click Save, it starts working. One thing that I typically forget is setting a proper name for this flow, I would say scheduled love letter. I click on save, and now I have the flow that every 1 minute sends an email to someone. For testing purposes, I'm sending it to myself, but typically you can change the receiver to whoever you want. Let me get back to my mailbox and see if I received it. Honey, I love you, and this is fantastic. I feel so good when I receive an email like this. And we wait for another minute for the second email to come. While we are at it, we can set the time zone to something different that it can hopefully stop working and starts on a certain date and time. So for myself, I set it on -5, which is Eastern time. And I put the date on it. For example, I put 2020, month is 6, day is, I set it to, for example, 15th, capital T, and then I want it to start at 2 p.m. and we end it with Z. This is the format that I have. Before I save it, let me check my mailbox one more time and see if the second love letter is here. Yes, we do get it. And finally, I click on save. Now, although it is supposed to run every single minute, now this schedule will stop and it will resume on July 15, 2020 at 2 p.m. And at that moment, it sends one email every minute to whoever I want to send it to. Now we are done with the triggers that you're running on a schedule. Let's go to the sweetest part, which is the trigger that runs on a change somewhere outside Flow.